Hello everyone and welcome to my unfluffy Valentine's Day month. This month I'm featuring books that are not lovey-dovey and I've got a pretty funny one for you today. So if you're interested in a silly sort of unromantic book about romance, stay tuned. Hi there and welcome to Book Talks with Miss Thomas. I am, you guessed it, Miss Thomas. If you enjoy talking about books and you like to listen to me talk about books, then please subscribe. I upload on Sundays, Wednesdays, and sometimes Fridays. So this month I'm featuring books about Valentine's Day that aren't like your typical lovey-dovey, overly romantic Valentine's Day book. I am happily married. I have 2 children, but I just get a little tired of all the like candy and flowers and candlelight fine dining. I just want to read a fun book. And so this time, the book I want to talk to you about is called The Bromance Club, or the Bromance Book Club. And the author is, I think it's pronounced Lyssa Kay Adams. Now, I did see on Jolie's channel, Bookworm Adventure Girl, that there are other books. There are sequels to this book, I guess. And I just read this one because I don't like fluffy romantic books, but I saw this and I thought it would be a good one for my February series on unfluffy books. And sure enough, it was a hit. I definitely thought this was a fun little book. So the Bromance Book Club. Now, there were a few things, there was a lot of profanity and some stilted dialogue. And I will say at the end, there was a little more Valentine-y kind of romance in there. It was not what I signed up for. So at the end, there were some steamy scenes if you like that. If you're someone who's going to feel a little bit embarrassed in those scenes, then maybe it's not for you. So the book begins with Gavin, a professional baseball player, a really outstanding athlete, who is devastated because his wife threw him out of the house. And he wants very much to stay married to his wife, but she has asked him to leave. So his friends, many of whom are on the baseball team, they're concerned, one, because they don't want him to screw up their chances on the baseball field. I mean, he's a very good athlete. And I guess they say that's why, but obviously they care about their friend Gavin as well. And so they want to help him fix his marriage. And in an attempt to do that, they invite him to their Bromance Book Club. And they're reading a book, I think it's called Courting the Contessa, and it's like this Victorian style, really old-fashioned romance. And so they get together and they talk about this old-fashioned romance book, and then they do some other funny things together too. Like my favorite scene was when they drink the fancy coffees, the frappuccinos and the lattes. They drink the fancy coffees to try and understand what it is that women see in this. And then the book did not describe them going shopping, but it's implied that they did some shopping too. And so it was just a really funny, flipped way of looking at relationships. It was these men, very manly men, you know, and the athletic men trying to sort of live through the perspective of the women they love. And it was fun. So I'm going to read you my favorite passage from the book. And of course, let me tell you, I have been craving a pumpkin spice latte ever since I read this passage. So I'm going to share this passage with you and let you know if maybe it's a book that would interest you. Now, I will say there's a lot of profanity in this book, so I'm going to skip that because I'm just not comfortable with that. If you can get past the profanity, then this might be a worthwhile book for you. But if the profanity bothers you, this isn't a good one. And I really thought it was way too much profanity. So I'm going to read the clean version. I'm just going to skip over the bad words to give you a sense of what the book is like. And also, I just think this is a funny passage. So here we go. This is from chapter 5 of the book. Okay, so this is Gavin, who's been thrown out by his wife, and then the other men come along to try and help him woo his wife and win her back. Gavin is staying in a hotel. By Monday morning, Gavin didn't think he could get any more depressed. But then someone knocked on the door of his hotel room at 8 in the morning, and he realized how wrong he was. Because standing on the other side of the door was book boner Braden Mack. "What are you doing here? Is that any way to talk to a friend who brings you coffee? You're not my friend. You're a pain in the ass." The coffee sounded good, though, so he stepped back to let Mac in. "And you didn't answer my question. I'm waiting for Dell." "Why?" "Because we have work to do." Mac tugged a paper cup from the cardboard drink carrier he was carrying. "I got you a pumpkin spice latte with cinnamon sprinkles. Seems like your speed." Gavin turned away with a grimace and an obscene gesture. But the need for caffeine overruled his pride. He flipped open the tab on the plastic top and took a sip. An explosion of flavor brought his feet to a halt and a moan from his mouth. Sweet, holy coffee gods! This was delicious. It was a liquid pumpkin pie. Why hadn't he ever tried this before? No wonder women drank this stuff. Mac grinned. "Right? I love these things." The door vibrated with another insistent knock. It was Dell, who barreled inside with an expression that said he wasn't in the mood for bullshit. "You have better have coffee for me," he barked. Mac pointed at the drink carrier. "Pumpkin spice latte, just as you ordered." Gavin's mouth dropped open. "You drink these too?" Dell dropped unceremoniously into the chair by the window. "I love them, but I'm too embarrassed to order them for myself." Mac plopped down on the couch and kicked up his feet. "Don't be ashamed for liking them. The backlash against the PSL. It's a perfect example of how toxic masculinity permeates even the most mundane things in your life. If masses of women like something, our society automatically begins to mock them. Just like the romance novels. If women like them, they must be a joke, right?" Gavin blinked. "You sound like Malcolm." "I'm not just a pretty face, man." Max set down his coffee and stood. "Point me to your clothes." Gavin choked into his cup. Why?" "We have to pick out what you're going to wear for the school musical tonight." "You're here to pick out my clothes?" "Among other things," Dell said. Mac marched into the single closet across the bathroom and yanked open the doors. "Dude, this is sad," he said, shoving several hangers aside. "This is all you own?" "No, most of my clothes are still at my house." "Well, I can't work with this. We're going to have to go shopping." And sadly, they don't show the scene where the men go shopping, but there is mention of new clothes a couple times in the book on Gavin. And I just thought it was a really fun, sweet, adorable book about men trying to understand women. And I just thought it was really sweet. Also, Gavin has twin daughters. And so there's some cute scenes, parenting scenes. And there's a little character trait of Gavin's that I thought was very meaningful, especially as a teacher. Gavin has a pretty significant stuttering problem. So he's a famous athlete, but he has a severe stutter. And his wife, of course, just listens patiently and, always respects him when he's talking. But a lot of the fans and other people do not. And they're very unkind sometimes about his stuttering. So I thought that was something that I found interesting to read about. And the only other thing that I want to say about the book that I found especially enjoyable is if you ever like to watch maybe Mean Girls, or you've read a book about the Mean Girl type characters, there are some Mean Girls. There's one in particular that's just horrible. And I love the scene in the end when someone pushes back and puts the mean girl in her place. And I just wanted to applaud that. I really enjoyed that too. So I do recommend for my unfluffy Valentine book, The Bromance Club. Talk to you later.